because I'm going to forget. I'm going to 100% forget. Good, Maverick, how's it going? Okay, we are live on YouTube. All is good. All is good. But yes, here's the list of things we need to fix. I think there's a couple things I forgot to put in this list. Let me just double check. Okay, we got that one. Okay. All right. Cool. It was that line. Yeah, here's our list of bugs to fix. Let's fix this one real quick. Secrets on the shipping level. We have some secrets in here, but we apparently don't have them added into the list. Whoopsies. Yeah, there is one secret. Container mans. Wow, I forgot to do that. That's going to be a problem because I have to manually put all these in here. And there's a high probability I do that often, where I like put a secret in and forget to do something with it. How does the player even get up there, actually? Do they dive up here and then dive up here? Oh, they dive up top the boxes. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna put some cloth hanging in here. I think that'd be a good little little thing. It indicates that you can jump up here. Let me just make sure that you can. Okay, good. Although for some reason you get stuck. Not cool. Cool. Got some little jumping challenges. I like it. It's a fun little way to break up all of the monotony, I guess, of shooting things. Finding secrets, I guess, could be fun. You know, I think there's still some spots we could add some more secrets. We could probably put one like right here. Now, I don't know, is this under the sublevel? No, it's under persistent. Interesting. Okay, let's put that on the list. I think we can get one more secret in here. I think that could be kind of fun. I don't know if it'd be really a secret, but maybe one over here. Also, we forgot to add cash pickups in this level. So there are various levels where we probably need to do that. Yeah. Here, Flick, how's it going? I saw a great video talking about the nuisances of Unreal. It's and I recognize almost. I watched the beginning of it and I was like, yep, yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I know that one. Good old Unreal Engine, huh? Good old Unreal. I thought about trying CryEngine, but it's far from beginner friendly. I think you would have a worse time with CryEngine than you would Unreal Engine. And I think that's probably due to the fact that I think most of the companies that use CryEngine, I feel like, are large companies that are probably keeping a lot of their information to themselves. Unlike Unreal, where it's a lot more accessible. Yeah, that's what I think you'd end up kind of running into. Wait, hold on. There's a decal underneath them. Oh, we have it set to not visible. Why is that? It's invisible. There must be a reason as to why we turn that off. You gotta admit, lots of games on a CryEngine achieve a great balance of performance and visuals. I don't think that's the engine. I don't think that's the engine. I think that's the team using the engine. There's a large likelihood that those companies using those engines have been using it or have team members that have been using it for a very long time. And they probably have like insider information to, you know, directly talk with potentially engine developers or whatever. I always go back to Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is the definition of how Unreal is used. I think Arc Raiders is definitely a great example of UE5 being used pretty well. But it's also matches up pretty well with timing, right? The first few releases on UE5 were using like UE 5.1 or UE 5.2 and were super early on. Even Marvel Rivals is a great example of UE5 being used pretty well. That's just because UE5 has evolved and you know, teams have been able to learn more about the engine and how it functions and whatnot versus the quick adaptation that occurred with some of the early games was its own problem. And then I just love when people bring up what's that one game, the fucking apocalyptic Russian kind of game? I forget what it's called. I already forgot what it's fucking called. I already forgot. Stalker. Yeah. I love how people brought up UE5 in the discussion of Stalker. Almost like all of the past games by that team also kind of sucked ass from a performance standpoint. It was mods that required it to actually run better. Why blame UE5 there? I thought that was hilarious and ridiculous that people were blaming the engine in that specific scenario. Albeit, I would not blame the engine. I think that the engine was pretty still early on during that time. But Ukrainian, sorry. I just think it's funny when people blame Unreal or any in that factor any engine for specific issues. I think myself included, you know. I have tons of like performance issues and whatnot in my game. I don't blame Unreal for it. I blame myself because I just don't have the necessary skills to fix certain issues or fix specific weird crashes that occur and whatnot. I just don't have the skills. So yeah. I also have insanely bad management. I don't know, man. I think it's pretty apparent when you have a studio that keeps releasing kind of buggy, you know, games. I don't think it's an engine software tools issue. It's never a tools issue in my opinion. Maybe in the random scenarios, but I think that you can blame that on other things like Windows or NVIDIA drivers or Microsoft because of DX12 or, you know what I mean? Like a variety of other things that in my opinion are more to blame. Unreal has its issues, don't get me wrong. But I think it's just kind of funny. Anyways, Zambon, how many frames do your game run on? I usually aim for like 120. It just depends on what kind of PC you have. And there's lots of settings to kind of change the visual settings and whatnot. I mean, they literally have bad management. Well, yeah. I get 180 with 3440 by 1440. Hell yeah. And hopefully, I am trying to make some improvements to certain levels that have ridiculous fucking lights in random places. So hopefully that should improve the performance even more. Have you considered making finishing moves for the shotguns or rifles? It would be nice as you could give them more ammo for them. I've considered it. I never thought about it giving more ammo though. That's an interesting idea. I think the problem is mostly I'm not an animator by trade. So it's very difficult for me to make like animations for stuff like that. But I like the idea of it refreshing. I just don't know if I have the time to make animations for those. And I don't know if the marketplace has any animations for like shotgun executions and stuff like that, but yeah. I've considered it though, and we have a system built for it. The katana has an execution for the katana. You literally like slice off people's heads as the execution. Sorry for the newbie question, but I tried playing a bit with UE5 and noticed that even on a blank scene with no lights, etc., it runs slightly above 100 FPS. That's just because there's a lot of like boilerplate stuff. DX12 is kind of a piece of shit in my opinion. Also, running it through the engine, right? The engine itself is also quite hefty on its own, especially UE5 versus UE4. There is an odd thing though, I have to cap the frame rate. So here's a tip for any Unreal Engine game, always cap the frame rate. Always. Even if you're like getting really good frame rate, always cap the frame rate. Because the engine will eat up your entire GPU. It does not matter. It will eat up your entire GPU unless you put a cap on it. Any Unreal Engine game, always put a cap on it. Otherwise, it will eat all of the resources possible. And then that ends up, you know, when you try to like look at some other shit, it'll fuck up things. Obviously, when you Alt-Tab, I believe, unless the game changes it, I believe by default, it should like set the FPS to like 4 by default or like 3 when it's Alt-Tabbed, but sometimes that's not the case. I don't know if that's actually, I know it's the case in the editor. I wonder if that's actually the case in package build. But yeah, always, I think my biggest tip is, and it doesn't hurt, always set a frame rate limit. The new AMD GPU drivers are terrible. Are they pulling a NVIDIA as well? They pull in a little bit of a NVIDIA? I would put a third secret in this level, but I don't know where I would put it. That's fine. I guess so. I use borderless full screen to utilize Windows 11's game mode, or whatever they call it. Some weird shit, but it's more optimal to do it this way from what I read. Some way Windows allocates resources, something like that. Oh, game mode, yeah. I don't know if I use that. I think Windows 10 has a similar thing. I don't know if I use it. I feel like I've turned that off for myself. I don't remember. Okay, this should be fixed. S-grade's not calculating properly in the main menu map report cards. Let me double check where that report was. Let's see here. Whenever my PC goes to sleep and I'm playing a game, the resolution changes when I go to wake the computer back up. I've had that issue on my GPU as well. It'll like randomly flicker and stuff like that. It'll randomly occur. Software is flawed and it's just becoming more problematic. I'm gonna say it. It's an economic issue. Nope, not that one. There's a different one. Oh, there's this bug as well. Did I write that on the... All right, I got it. Yeah. Where is previously with all S ranked items, this always graded as an S plus. After updating, that grade became an A. Wait, what the fuck? Replaying the level and achieving S rank in all available fields graded level correctly at an S plus rank. Is the required score to achieve S rank was increased, otherwise the other metrics in the other breakdown, the old breakdown, are equal such better. That's a weird one. Either way, I think I'm going to change this up, so... I think there was another bug somewhere in here. Let's see the clear time issue, because I don't know what the fuck is going on there, man. This as well, and then this... Level clear time is not being checked against platinum time, resulting in any clear being an S rank. So let's go to end screen, chapter, end. Okay, there we go. Open results. So set rating text for the clear time rating. Find references of this. We set it here. Calculate clear time rating. Active chapter. Oh, it's a function library, which is good, because any changes I make here will propagate to other places. Very good. Okay. Clear time. We get the platinum time, so we're doing that. So 0 is D. If you get double the platinum time, if clear time is more than or equal to double platinum time, result in a D. Otherwise, result in a C. If the clear time is less than or equal to platinum time plus, I guess, 1/3 of it, then result in a B. D, C, B, A, S. Clear time is less than or equal to platinum time. So that seems to be straightforward to me. So it honestly seems like something else is the problem here. It must be this being set here. It's apparently private for some reason. We set the clear time rating here. Where do we set the score subratings? At the very end here in the event construct. And we read clear time. Okay, but where are we setting clear time? Change stat results. I have a feeling I know what's going on here. It's an order of events issue, I think. This definitely looks like an order of events issue. This must be running after this is able to run. Like, I'm kind of baffled that this is even here. Like, where is this running? We call end chapter construct. What do we call this? No wonder this shit's fucking broken. Well, no wonder it's broken. End chapter construct. Save chapter session. We'll call this twice. I'm going to assume we call this at the end right here, which is getting all these new stats. But the problem is when do we construct the UI widget? I would assume we're constructing beforehand because we have a reference to the fucking thing right here, which gets added in the session end chapter. And then we save the chat. This is definitely a order of events issue. Well, no wonder. So I think it is actually getting the right score. It's just in that menu, it's giving us the wrong thing. And if I were to guess, what is this clear time by default? 0. Okay, so that makes sense. So what we should be doing... Classic UI bug. The way I made this is really stupid. Honestly, like really stupid. There was one thing depended on an other to be created first before you could do something, and it's just fucked. It's all just fucked. These are fine because they don't rely on this value. I'm actually kind of confused as to why this is here. Like, it could easily just be in the set score subratings. Like, we could easily just call the clear time from there. So I'm actually going to do that, I think. There was probably reasoning why that was there, but it's not the right reason. You're calling it twice? No, I'm actually... So, I can show you guys what the problem is. It's a funny little... issue. What was going on is that we would spawn the UI right here, right? When we spawn the UI, it's going to call event construct. The problem is, though, this variable that it was using, clear time, was not being set beforehand. It was being set afterwards in here. So what ends up happening is this ends up doing its process, right? Calculating the clear time. But the clear time at the point of this section was 0 seconds. So we ended up getting the wrong rating because it was just all wrong. Because this was actually being set afterward. So I'm a little dummy. And because of that, everything kind of messed up from a rating standpoint. Yeah. Good luck. I think use that line. I think we'll have a good day today figuring out all these bugs. I think it should be pretty easy. I saw some Unreal 5.6 stuff, and from an outsider look, it seems like some pretty great stuff. We'll see, man. I was looking at some of the roadmap stuff, and it looks, you know, it looks promising, but I really do think if they want UE6 to be a successful endeavor, I do think they should take one version to just focus on what they currently have, what current tool set we have, without adding any additional tools, and just polish the shit out of it. We need like a UX update, you know, improve some of the weird fuckery that's in the engine. I was watching this video. I didn't finish it. I was actually planning on watching it here on stream with you guys because I think it's just such a funny video. By Mental Checkpoint, The Unreal Way. It's really funny. It's really funny. So let's watch it. Let's watch it. I think I can put on audio for this too, so we can put on audio for YouTube side. Yeah. I think this video is great because it really does point out the little things that people don't really notice when it comes to UE. So I just want to see what's in here.
Hello there, fellow game developer. You were sent this video to help you with your Unreal Engine onboarding process. Unreal is one of the best known engines in the industry, responsible for next-gen advancements such as Nanite, MetaHuman, and Lumen, amongst many others. All of this packed in the feature-rich and intuitive Unreal Editor, where if you want to delete an asset, you cannot press enter to confirm your action. It is way more time effective to move your cursor over that red button and click it every single time. But if you change your mind, you can press the escape icon also with your mouse. Because Unreal is all about consistency. And speaking of which, if you're used to a different interface layout from other engines, you can customize Unreal's interface, allowing you to place windows wherever you want them to be. However, you're likely wrong, and you'll be reminded of this when you try to close the engine with unsaved changes. Your custom window placements are now gone, and next time you open the editor, you'll be reminded that you should get used to do things the Unreal way. You can, however, go here, and reload your hopefully previously saved layout, as long as you're okay doing that every single time you open the editor. Since 1998, when it was first introduced, the Unreal Engine went through 5 generational updates over the course of 27 years. That being said, we are not afraid to push boundaries and set new industry standards, such as when you grab the transform gizmo and pull towards yourself, the object naturally goes further.
Okay, a comment on this. I don't know which UE4 version it was, but it absolutely fucked fucked the gizmo. The gizmo has not been the same since. You zoom in, the gizmo fucking, for some reason, inverts. You have to zoom out, and then you can see the gizmo properly. I don't know which UE4 version it was, but it's still an issue to this day.
Research has shown that this is most likely what developers want. Unreal Engine is really good at predicting your intentions. For example, if you have a long collision box and you uniformly scale it down, Unreal knows that you actually wanted the cube all along, so it gets rid of those pesky uniform proportions for you. Let's see if you've been paying attention. Quiz time. If you grab the center of this scale gizmo and pull your mouse down, what do you think will happen? That is correct, the object becomes bigger. That's not to be mistaken by that same action, but from this slightly different perspective, in which case the object becomes smaller. It might seem
Oh god.
a little difficult, but trust us, this is the Unreal way. Let's take perspective out of the equation and go into the 2D viewport. From here, we can pick any camera orientation we want. So let's pick front. You will notice that
Yeah. I think is he gonna point it out? I don't know who fucked it up. Fire that guy. Don't let him get a job ever again. In fact, put him in a random forest, away from society, forever. The characters are Y forward, not X forward, even though the entire engine considers X forward. So that means when you do a get forward vector using your character mesh, no. You use get right vector. Okay? Don't get it fucking twisted.
once you do this, the editor
and they have not fixed it since, because doing so would probably break a bunch of shit.
Will start aggressively flash at you. This means that you made it angry, but we can easily fix this by changing the light mode. Now that we are in the 2D viewport, we can zoom in a little, but keep in mind that zooming in will get rid of the transform gizmo, because good developers should be able to work from afar. However, sometimes the more you zoom in, the more that transform gizmo gets disassembled. It might take a little time, but very soon you'll master exactly what gizmo to use and where.
There's a reason why no one uses the perspective controls a lot of the time in Unreal. It's because it just sucks in Unreal. It just sucks.
For example,
they
this
just suck.
Combined movement gizmo
Why is the button
works
there?
on this,
just get rid of
but
it.
not on this, unless you use the other movement gizmo, in which case we're good. Unreal Engine was actually developed...
This is definitely a UE 5.6 thing, because that's using the UE 5.6 toolbar. Nice. Good. Well, I guess it's a preview version, so I guess everything's fucking broken, but...
other movement gizmo, in which case we're good. Unreal Engine was actually developed by Epic Games, which was founded 34 years ago by Team Sweeney, and it employs over 4,350 people to this day. This is actual footage of one of those developers working on Unreal Engine, dragging a selection box to highlight multiple assets, which is something you cannot do in the content browser, because that would be heathen behavior. You can, however, use a selection box to select things in the 2D viewport by simply clicking
and half the time it doesn't work.
This is a feature we've added sometime in Unreal 1, as you can see on this roadmap. Roughly 15 years later, we decided to also allow you to use this feature in the 3D viewport as well, by requiring you to press an additional hotkey compared to the 2D action. Here at Epic Games, we like to switch around what hotkeys do depending on where exactly on the screen you clicked last time.
Having to change the default saving hotkeys is fucking annoying. Who made this save process? Just have it be save all, man, not save current asset that you have currently focused. Sometimes it doesn't even save, by the way. Oh, by the way, you need to have it hovered or something. Like, who built this shit? They actually hate us. They hate us.
Time to make sure you're paying attention. Now you know how to drag a selection box in both the 2D and 3D viewports, but of course there is no selection box inside the blueprints viewport because, again, heathen behavior. You have to manually select each individual item on the screen like God intended. Even though it has been 11 years, we still believe that it's not right to be able to use the selection box in neither the blueprint viewport nor the content browser. For that is not the Unreal way. As you know, in Unreal, you have your main level viewport where you place your game assets, and a very popular...
The thing I love about this video is it almost seems like an infographic, or like a, you know what I mean? Like a hey, here's some helpful tips. Like you're just getting started at like an office, and they like show you this before you start working. This is how it kind of feels, man.
Type of asset in Unreal are blueprints, which is what is known in the industry as a prefab. Not to be confused with Unreal Blueprints visual scripting language, or the blueprints classes such as game modes and level blueprints, which are a separate thing from widget blueprints. Now, in order to avoid any confusion, all of those are collectively referred to as blueprints, in order to keep things clear for new developers. The one that we care about, however, is the prefab meaning of this, which is a collection of multiple assets grouped as one. These prefabs can be edited, and they come with their own viewport, where you'll be spending a lot of time manipulating assets around. And if you thought that the level viewport and the prefab viewport would work the same, you are probably a sinful Unity user. In our case, if you need to select multiple objects in the level viewport, simply hold Shift and click on each
You know what he didn't? Did he point this out? Let's see if he does.
object,
Let's see if he
and
does.
they will light up with an orange outline. But in the prefab viewport, you guessed it, Shift click.
Nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about this, which is really upsetting me. If you try to move an object very slightly, there are times where you'll move it and it will deselect the object. It will end up deselecting the object and selecting whatever's behind it. Now, if you're moving multiple objects at once, and you try to do that, and it like deselects whatever's behind, you see, look at that. If you're trying to move multiple objects, look at this. Let's say I'm dragging a bunch of this shit, and you try to move something while having multiple objects. Let's say I move this a little bit. It will deselect the other things and select whatever your cursor is under. I love this engine. I love it. It's great. It's fantastic. I don't want to punch myself in the fucking face when I use it. I would argue that blueprints are not made for making groups of static meshes like that. I don't think I've ever needed a select box in a blueprint. I don't know how it works in UE5. I know in UE5 there's like a new thing for like batching assets together using blueprints. It's either blueprint actors or it does it as the whole level thing, which I don't think would be considered as a blueprint necessarily. I would agree though, in certain scenarios for sure. I would agree. I mean, the map is okay looking. I think we could do a better job on it. Yeah, selecting multiple actors in the scene, definitely kind of a piece of shit. What was the button? Control Shift left click? Yeah. Also, half the time, this select box doesn't even work properly. What if I want to use it as a deselect? Well, guess what? You're in luck. There isn't one. There is no deselect. It is just select. there is no deselect. It's just select. I've had moments where I'm like, I would like to deselect things, and then I had to do it by hand.
It doesn't work because that's old news. It's control, and after you select multiple objects, they also light up with the same orange outline. Not all of them though, just some, depending on what type of objects they are. Let's say you want to duplicate these objects. Once you spend a solid minute handpicking all of them, simply press Ctrl D to duplicate, at which point you will notice that the engine deselects all of them but one. So you get the joy of hunting for them here, in the hierarchy panel.
Yeah, I think he's kind of misusing the blueprint stuff a little bit, but yeah, no, I agree. I think the issue is there's no consistency between different viewports. I wouldn't use it this way, but if someone wants to use it this way, they should be able to just, if they duplicate something, it should select everything that you duplicated. It is a bit silly. Like, I wouldn't use it like that, but if someone wants to, then sure. But I do think the UI should, the user experience should be the fucking same throughout everything. I do agree with that.
Where
like, I
the
think
order
it's a bit
of
stupid.
assets and who they are parented to is very important. So when you drag a new asset in here, there is a blue outline, highlighting exactly which component your dragged object will not be placed under because you naturally wanted it to go under whatever you selected 3 minutes ago. Unreal Engine is not only free to
Okay, that's not a skill issue. You gotta admit, that's fucking bullshit. That's kind of just stupid. Like, why show the blue box then? Why? Okay, you can't call that a skill. That's just fucking stupid.
use, but it's also open source, with over 738 contributors on GitHub spending their time by making incremental improvements to the engine. Improvements such as the robust Ctrl-Z undo function. Unreal developers love the undo function because it undoes any good feelings that might be distracting in a game development environment. If you're in the level viewport and you accidentally select the wrong thing, it's okay, you can undo and we got you. But if you're in the prefab viewport, you better learn how to stop making mistakes. If your playhead is on a specific animation frame, undo and the playhead is back to frame 1. Now if we move on to an animation montage, actually the timeline is a bit small, so we can simply resize it by finding this blue bar, grab it from anywhere and simply pull up. Mistakes can happen all the time while editing animation.
Here's a fun issue that I noticed, I think in UE5. Sometimes you'll drag this up and what ends up happening is, never mind. Sometimes you, never mind. Sometimes you'll end up just doing this, which is like, why is dragging this window dragging the entire window? Can you help? Someone help me out here. Why is dragging this window dragging the entire window? Make it make sense.
Let's say we want to copy.
People really did like the third-person view on Superhire. I think it'll do well. Maybe. I don't know.
Sound notifications.
We had a lot of. We've gotten a lot of refunds though. We got a lot of refunds. We're still at like 18.2%, but. Ugh.
Here, we click on it, copy, move the playhead where we want to paste, and paste. Oh, sorry, that didn't work because we dragged the playhead from here. Instead, we should have dragged it from here. Now we can paste and, oh, the notification is all the way there. No worries.
I hate this shit too. I hate this. This shit doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense.
Simply paste again, and now it's on the first frame. That happens sometimes. All the times. But who knows, you might actually...
That happens sometimes, all the times. That's a good saying for Unreal Engine. Happens some of the time, all the time. Hold on, I gotta look up my messages. Okay, I'm fine.
You want them there. So if you want to quickly preview your animation, simply hit undo and the animation will start playing on its own. If you want to pause it, simply press space. But don't try to press space in a retargeting animation because space simply doesn't do anything. Or for UI animations, if you select one, space also doesn't do anything. You know, keeping you on your toes. And speaking of UI animations, if you are working on one and made a mistake, undo, and you're no longer working on that animation. This is the engine telling you that maybe you should take a break. Now, we can stop here with the first part of this
correction. This is not the engine telling you to take a break. This is the engine telling you to go fuck yourself. All right, there's a difference. There's a difference. Okay.
Video. But before we go, remember to save any changes you've made in the editor settings in case you would like to have these preferences synchronized across multiple computers or projects. Once you open the editor settings, you will notice a very convenient export button that exports your settings in a single config file per category. So don't forget to go through each of the 79 categories and individually export their settings, otherwise your changes will be lost. And in the unfortunate event of that happening, you can simply reset to defaults, which only works if you happened to press set defaults before you changed anything. Otherwise, this button does nothing, because setting defaults by default
I didn't even know that was a thing.
would not be the Unreal way. This concludes our first Unreal on... Okay, real talk. I've been using this engine for a little over a year and I actually love it. But it's very frustrating how it completely takes you out of your flow state because of silly inconsistencies like the ones in this video, which are like 10% of the kind of problems I've stumbled upon so far. The problem is that developers just get used to these over time and don't...
Every time I read the UE forums, now I don't know, no offense to this person and whatever. Every time I really read the Unreal forums, The people with like 5,000, 10,000 plus posts that for some reason have titles like community hero and stuff like that, they're usually kind of a cunt. There's no other way to word it. They're kind of a... like, I kind of just don't want to ever see their replies because they're usually an asshole. Sometimes they help. A lot of the time, they're just pretentious. Is it because of the title? No, it's just because they're just a fucking asshole. No wonder there's no new people going into the forum because it's overrun by these like fucking narcissistic, like they're just annoying. Like, I feel like I just don't like. I'm not on the elitist. They're like really elitist and kind of. Some of them, but the ones that are, usually you look at their like profiles and it's like these motherfuckers are like 24/7 on the forum. It's like they're like, yeah. Let's talk about the forum. Why do they still have dead links? Listen, you're talking about Epic Games, okay? Their web performance, the things they're able to do on the web, they fucking suck at it. I had to give up on the GD script forums. They're all just replying with actually it's this way for very good reasons every other language. Blender is the same way. Blender is like, oh, just deal with it and do it this way, the Blender way. Yeah, I don't know. The Unreal forums has some great information, and then sometimes you read some of it and you're like, yeah, this guy's an asshole. That's yeah. I used to help people on the forum, then I was like, man, I don't really care that much. It's like, yeah. Source is the GOAT in terms of UX. I opened up Source Engine or Hammer when I was like 10 years old. Didn't know a single fucking thing what I was doing. I think it was Source, or was it UDK? I remember it was a engine when I was really young. Didn't know what I was doing at all. But I would love to go back into that today and see what it's like.
Don't see them as problems anymore, while the engine...
It's true though, what he's saying. There are so many people, like exactly these people with like 10,000 posts and shit, they don't see the problems anymore, and they can't be empathetic of the problems, which in my opinion is a fucking problem. Okay? Ignoring the problems, especially using the engine on a daily basis, and you just ignoring problems, that doesn't help the problem. We have to be very vocal about the problems of the engine. Otherwise, we end up getting into this problem where there are so many UX issues in the engine. You have an Epic shirt, you must be the ultimate elitist asshole. Nah, no, I don't think so. Am I? Do I come across as an elitist asshole? I feel like I'm pretty open. I don't say shit like Unreal Engine is the best engine ever. I don't say stupid shit like that. Remember UDK is a little shitter, had no idea, but thinking I was making the next GTA. Not elitist, just asshole. All right, I'll take that. I'm okay with that.
The kind of problems I've stumbled upon so far. The problem is that developers just get used to these over time and don't see them as problems anymore, while the engine becomes less and less approachable to new users.
I agree. He was using the actor editor or the component blueprint viewport in a very specific way, right? In a way that I typically would not use. But I don't think we should go out of our way and be like, you shouldn't use it like that. You know what I mean? I don't think that is... I think there is a big issue where you go from one UI to another, like the widget editor, and trying to make animations versus going to the animation editor for like a montage. And both of them, for some reason, do different things. Crimson's on the do not host list of UE. I actually genuinely think I did get on that list. I do kind of think I did get on that list because I am a bit of an asshole. I think I genuinely did get on. I think I am probably a brand risk.
It's very discouraging to shop for an engine for your next project and end up with this feeling of instability and inconsistency in the tool that you're planning on using for a multi-year complex project that you might financially depend on. I've been keeping huge lists of these problems, so if anyone from Unreal is watching this, please reach out because I would love to help you actually make this engine better. I'll shut up for now, but there might be a second video later.
I think there should be a second video. I think there should be, man. We need more. We need to talk more about this kind of shit. Not like, man, the rendering in Unreal is horrible. TAA, blah 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 blah. I get that. That's great and all. But can we talk about like the UX issues? You know, that like all of us devs have a day-to-day basis, rather than trying to like rage bait gamers. Can we just have a proper conversation? You know what I mean? Amongst developers, not with gamers who don't give a fuck about the engine. They just care about the end product, which is perfectly fine, by the way. I'm just saying that's perfectly fine. Let's talk about things as developers. Yes, I love that idea. I love that he also is keeping a list. I should keep a list too. I have not been keeping a list. Link to the video here. Let me get. Everybody click the like button, whatever, if you liked it. Yeah. There's a GT talk comparing Source's UX to UE. You know, I've posted about it before many times, and I think I've talked about it for probably a few years now. I've learned that Epic has a very big UX issue. They don't know UX. They don't. Look at fucking Fortnite's UI. It's awful now. I remember the last time I tried to get into Fortnite, I was like, dude, I just want to play Battle Royale. Just normal Battle Royale. You had to go into like 6 different buttons, or you had to find the fucking button on a plethora of bullshit. It was insane. It's insane. And then look at Fab, obviously. Like, it's come to the point where it's like, this is not a individual product to product problem. This is just a company-wide issue. They just are fucking garbage with UX. It's really just, it's bad, dude. It's really bad. Anyways, great video. I love that video. I should start keeping a list of quarrels I have with the engine as well. Here's a quarrel I have. Nav mesh randomly destroying itself when you go into a persistent level. And if you hide one of the levels, it does not build nav mesh for that level. And then if you save and you end up, you know, making a package build of that and ship that off to your players, well, guess what? All of the enemies are standing still. Isn't that great? That's exactly what you wanted, right? 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 Old man yells at cloud. Well, you know how I am. He doesn't know that everything in Unreal is actually experimental. It doesn't have to be, though. You know? It doesn't have to be. We don't have to build everything on a foundation of twigs and fucking gum, chewing gum. Yeah, and the latest build, I think the latest beta branch build right now, one of the levels, all of the enemies are broken because the nav mesh at that time did not save alongside all of the other levels I had visible. So you end up having a level that players are not like really able to enjoy, and that happens so often to the point where it's like you have to like double check, triple check all of your levels to make sure that nav mesh built properly, and also that the nav mesh built on the right like recast object. Sometimes, here's another quirk. I'm sure you guys are going to love this one. Sometimes this recast nav mesh will actually build, and this is crazy, this recast nav mesh will build on one of your sub-levels when you don't want it to, and you instead want the recast nav mesh to be built on the persistent level. Here's the problem, though. Once you do this, you might not notice this at first. If that happens, there's a large likelihood the nav mesh doesn't work. And you don't realize it. And you'll keep clicking the build nav mesh button. That doesn't fix it. You have to actually delete this object, go to your persistent level, set that as the active, and then rebuild. That's what testers usually do before release. That's your company. The thing is, though, they shouldn't have to test for that. I'm really glad that there are people within the community that are testing the game, discovering these issues, and then writing a report. Are you sure these problems weren't already fixed in UE5? I heavily doubt it, man. Sounds like a workaround, not a workflow. It's not a workflow. It is a workaround because some of this shit fucking breaks. That's an unknown cook failure. Oh, here's something about unknown cook failures. Here's another one. When you change a... Okay, this is why I recommend people just don't use blueprint structs anymore. Do not use blueprint structs or enums. Just don't. Learn a little bit of C++, enough to be able to build C++ structs and enums. If you change a blueprint struct and you save everything, your next package or cook will fail because some of those files need to be, the nodes need to be refreshed and resaved. Anywhere that struct gets used needs to be refreshed and saved. That's why I said don't even fucking bother with blueprint structs or enums anymore. So you have to go through all of these files manually, refresh them, save them, and then you can cook successfully. Crazy. But we're not talking about these problems, right? Also, there's other issues in UE5 where structs and enums are even, or blueprint structs and enums are even way more unstable to the point where like you could probably brick your project. Obviously, you know, source control, all that kind of good stuff, but it's to a point where it's like, okay, just use C++. You have to learn C++ now. Gameplay tags replaced enums for me. I think enums are still a nice thing to have, but yeah, gameplay tags are great too. I think they're great at replacing booleans for me. They replace booleans a lot of the time. It's just a way better boolean. And obviously I have yet to learn all the other things that gameplay tags have, like cooldowns and all this cool shit that it has. I think that stuff's very, very cool as well. I still have to learn all that stuff. Those are just a few things that I am very annoyed about when it comes to Unreal. You have to just build a muscle memory of just being able to deal with all the workarounds you have to fucking do on a daily basis. And this is UE 4.26. Maybe some of it is fixed in UE 5. Probably not. I'm going to be real, probably not. In fact, I think this video was literally UE 5.6 preview, albeit. I don't know if I would necessarily use the preview as a good indicator of how the engine is, but it is, you know. Yeah. 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 Yeah, fun times. Let's be honest here, every engine is a minefield and you learn to navigate with experience. Yeah, I understand that. There's always going to be like things you have to like, you know, there's always going to be quirks. But there's certain things where it's like, it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be. Like, especially the most common things like using your gizmo, hotkeys, and consistency across interfaces. It doesn't have to be a minefield. You know what I mean? With certain things. But you know, that's obviously, making games is always going to have a whole bunch of shit that you have to fucking figure out. A lot of workarounds, a lot of things you just need to figure out, unfortunately. But at the same time, there is a UX. I think we can all agree there is a UX problem at Epic. I think there is, and we can clearly see that as a repeat pattern across all of their products, products and services. Oh. Anyways, back to bug fixing. What are we on now? S-grade is not calculated properly on the main menu map. Nope. Level clear time is not being checked again. Okay, so this should be fixed. That should be fixed. Their launcher is a prime example. The launcher is horrible, man. And I think it's honestly kind of laughable that they wanted to compete with Steam. I'm sorry. Now, Steam had its issues back then as well. Don't get me wrong. They ran through the same issues, but it's fucking 2025. Okay? You're a huge company. You could figure it out. It's not on a basis of, okay, well, Steam had these issues too. It's like, no, listen, if you want to compete with them, get to their level. Get to their level. And that's, you have the money. It's not even a fucking, like, it shouldn't even be like a thing. The launcher sucks balls. I still laugh at the fact it didn't even have a damn search bar at launch. That's insane. What didn't have a search bar? The Epic Games Store didn't have a search bar? Epic Games? Steam was going that route, just do it, and then realized Steam doesn't need to do that. The thing is, I always say this, it came like 6 months after. That's crazy, dude. It's because they had like no games on their fucking poopy store. Let's be real. I think Steam holds the... I think Steam continues to hold... I talked about this before. Steam continues to hold like the best PC store because it continually tries to improve it. They're not like, yeah, we're at the top. We're not even going to do anything. Steam has constantly put out updates for their shop, their practices. They've constantly like pushed things. Steam single-handedly, in my opinion, pushed demo, like not single-handedly. There's itch.io and stuff like that, but Steam definitely, I think, was a huge contributor to bringing back demos. Steam Next Fest and all that stuff, like it's such a big thing now. Like people are like going back into devs are going back to like making demos and stuff like that because they brought that off. Wait, is there a Next Fest on right now? No, right? It's yeah, it's in June, right? It's in June. Help a ton for Kickstarter stuff. Yeah, I mean, Steam is live a lot, not still. Yeah. I would agree with that. They just like constantly try to push to improve things. Like they're always trying to push to improve things. Whereas Epic Games is just they're too fucking slow, man. They're too slow. I think truly there's a problem at Epic Games. You know how they talked about how there's like, what was it, 3,000 employees? What are all of those 3,000 employees doing? I bet you there's one guy that just wants to get shit done, but he has to talk to his boss, that then talks to their boss, that then has to talk to their boss. But then guess what? While they do this, this is 1 week, this is 1 week, this is 1 week, because they have to set up a fucking Zoom call that nobody gives a shit about. It's crazy. It's insane. I think that's a problem in big tech. It's like you upscale so much and you have this guy's a lead of this guy that then leads this guy that then leads this guy, and then like nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. And the engine is probably stagnant because of that, honestly. You ever see the TikTok shit about a ghost employee? No, I don't look at TikTok. Like in Ubisoft, look at Sandfall Interactive made a game that would have taken Ubisoft 25 years. Is Sandfall the French studio that made that one game? I think a company that large, they have a ton of ghost employees that literally do nothing. The thing is, yes, I think it's a lot more prominent in big tech companies like that, but I think in a lot of companies you have people that are just, they're basically a fucking like heavyweight, man. They're a weight on the company. Like they don't actually do anything, or they're lazy as shit. And anytime they're told to do something, they're like, all right, fine. You know what I mean? Like it becomes work just to give them work. Yeah, and then you have sprints, planning, backlog refinement, and maybe even a Scrum Master report too. It's crazy, dude. It's insane. Doesn't Valve have something like a flat hierarchy? They have a what do they call it? They have like an open wheel structure or whatever it's called, where it's like you can move your desk and basically, I guess, work in. I don't know how it works. I think I remember them saying it's like an employee can go to a different project and then work and help in whatever there, or what's it called? desk on wheels or some shit. I don't forget what the saying was. We work like Scrum for our banking cloud. Sometimes stuff takes so long, it's crazy. I'm telling you, when a company gets too big, it's just it becomes a world of you not like no one's really getting anything done. It's just you got to set up 17 different calls just to even talk about the thing getting done. Like someone in those calls could easily just go to their fucking computer. Oh, hey, you know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. That's insane. It's insane. It's like, no, I don't need a call. Just tell me, okay, what is this? Okay, do this. All right, okay. There we go. Like oh my god. You know, Mool? Hope you're fine. Hey, likewise. Yeah, I'm doing all right. We're just trying to fix a bunch of bugs and whatnot. S-grade's not calculating properly on the main menu report cards. Okay, so what's going on here? It's really that, but sometimes there is a lot of security issues that blocks your work. I do think one of the problems. Yeah, no, I get it. In some regards, I get it. In some regards, I think the thing is, I think companies start becoming brittle like that because they start hiring incompetent people, or they don't train people enough. So what ends up happening is now you need this huge barrier that now impacts the veteran or senior developers that just want to get shit done, but they can't because there are big barriers to attempt to stop things from going on. Just fucking accept my pull request. Let's see here. S rankings text block. Let's see what's going on. More than or equal to 4. D, C, B, A, S, S plus. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I swear someone reported a bug on this. I just need to be certain. I know this we fixed. That we fixed. This is another issue. That's not the report card. That's the best run. Is it in one of these posts that's just a bunch of bugs in one? This kind of makes it a little difficult for me to fix bugs because then I have to find who reported it. I had a buddy who worked for a tech company and he was asked to write something, so he did in a way that after 10 years they let him go. It all crumbled and they called him and he said, oh, my hourly went up for contract work. Fucking dude, hell yeah. Hell yeah. How many people are working in this game? Jabroni, technically, so there's just 2 of us. But the other developer does music. I do all the other stuff. So all replayed. Okay, so that should be fixed. But is the S count not working? I don't know. Is this a bug or is this not a bug? Maybe this used to be a bug? S grade's not calculating properly on the main menu map report cards. Three out of 5. Zero out of 7. Makes sense. 0 to 7 makes sense. 0 to 4, 0 to 4, 1 out of 3. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Why is it an S? Why is it an S plus when we got 2 Ds? Nuts. Just purchased it 20 minutes ago. Good job. Hey, thank you, Sean. Hopefully you enjoy it. I would try the test branch because that's basically what the 1.0 will be. It's just a little bit buggy. But completely understandable if you want to wait until the test branch actually comes out. So this is 1 out of 5 as well. I think this was me cheating and just hitting the end chapter button. But, so this probably would not happen to an actual player. We do need to calculate this last overall rating a bit differently though. And I think that's on my task list somewhere. S grades not calculated properly on the main menu report cards. I don't know if that's true. Let me open up the game. 1 out of 5. This I'd like to change. If this is mostly S's, this will become S. That I'd like to change. I gotta figure out what is going on there. Huh. You know, that doesn't look right to me. One minute and 3 seconds for Chop Shop. 1 minute, 3 seconds for Chop Shop. The timer is 80 seconds for Platinum Time, so we got below that. 35,000 score. We have above that. And it still is giving us an A. What? It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Okay. We still got some problems to fix there. Let me see in the report card if there's any potential way for this to fuck up. We're going through the thing, we're checking that all of the series match this. Makes sense. Then we're loading the persistent save. We're doing this in a for loop though, and we're constantly loading this slot. I think what might be a good idea is to do this. That should be much better. Okay, so it doesn't constantly load. Name an album? I don't know. There's the new album by Sleep Token. Arcadia, some shit. That's about it. What's some other albums I've been listening to? I don't know. I just listen to random music, man. I don't actually look at the names of the songs a lot of the time. Name a movie? I saw some clips of the movie and it looks like a great movie. I gotta watch it. Green Book, I think was what it was called. Green Book. Like, I got a bunch of random music in here. Like, they're all like different themes. Yeah, I need to watch that movie because it looks like a great watch. I recently binge watched Loki, the series. I thought it was great. Did you watch it? I thought it was great too. I love the theme of it, man. The theme, the art direction of it, I thought was great. It had an almost Control-esque vibe to it. It was very cool. I still got to play through Control. I remember I started it and I just haven't like finished it at all. Yeah, with the TVA thing, I think yeah, I love it. Kind of like retro-ish kind of vibe to it too. Yeah, the season 2 ending it goes hard. It goes hard. No spoilers, but it goes hard. Okay, I don't know why. This is such a weird piece of code. I don't know why I'm doing it this way. We're going through every single chapter in the game, and then we're going through every single chapter you completed, and then checking if it matches the current one in the list. Why? Oh, total levels. So we're trying to get the total levels. But can't we just get the total levels and the total challenges and then run through the loop by the time this loop is completed and then do that instead? What is the reasoning behind doing this? Because we have the series name. We could just check if this is associated with the series name. Never mind, we can't, because the series name is not associated with any of this struct. Oh my god. Oh. I'm seeing the stupidity of past me. Past me should get fired, honestly. Past me is kind of... What an idiot programmer. What an idiot. All right, unfortunately, I think... One way we could resolve this, if I really wanted to, but I'm really lazy right now, is what I would do is I would keep track of an array of all of the chapter names within this series, and then go through the loop of the chapters completed. But the problem is, every single time we... God, we should fix this. We should. Okay, this code can be improved. Let's write a comment. Yeah. This is really dumb. So you can hire your present self for fixing this? Yeah, fire past me to hire current me. Didn't you remove a comment like this a couple of streams ago? Was it this file? I don't think it was this file. May 9th. Nah, I don't think so. I think it was a different file. Yeah, it was a different file, I think. Unless I didn't submit it. No, I think it was a different file. You're talking about the thing where I said place code here? One of my comments, place code here. My infamous comment. One of the only comments I have in this project, mind you. Okay, I think the report cards should work. This should be working now. So this should be working. Let's determine rating. Okay, here we go. So we're dividing all 5 ratings and then we're truncating it. Oh. Let's round it instead. I think by rounding it, we can get more S rankings. Now, here's a problem. I would have to test the game for these changes to propagate. How good are you at maths? I suck. Yeah, not very good with math, admittedly. I'm not very good at math. I got better at it, obviously, by doing this stuff, but you know, I'm not very good at it. Like, I have to cheat and, you know, figure it out for me to do a lot of things. Give achievements on end session. Cool. Okay, so yeah, put code here. That was a great comment. I love that comment. Put code here. Oh, fuck, man. I don't know which file it was. I don't want to know. I don't want to remember. I would rather not remember. Okay. Okay, we can remember what our we can fix this S plus rating bug in here. And we can give the S plus rating, but I do want to fix it somewhere else. So it's in the game instance. Okay, so this should be fixed. This bug right here, the orange one, getting all but 1 rating as S, example, all S but 1 A counts as an A, should be S. So because we were truncating it, I think it was very close to being an S, but it ended up going backwards. So by rounding it, we should have a much better thing. You look like that screaming reporter guy with an afro. Are you talking about screaming reporter guy? Are you talking about that guy that trolls people during interviews? I forgot his name. His name is on the tip of my tongue. I don't know if he has an afro. Does he have an afro? I forgot his name. I look like anybody. Listen, I look like everybody. That's why I am a hired assassin. Because I look like everyone. It's my secret job. That's my side job. S plus rank check Steam achievement isn't being given. All right, let's find out where I fucked up. Or where past me fucked up. Sorry. Correction. Not me. I don't fuck up. It's past me that messes up. Where's my game instance? Oh, I'm in my game instance. Oh. Save file and stats. Cache achievements. Check achievements campaign, check achievements all. It's there. One S plus rank. Let me check the Steam. Let me check the Steam API. Make sure I didn't fuck up the name or something. Maybe the personal record difficulty isn't being set properly. And maybe I need to check the best run stat as well. Let's see here, achievements. S plus. 1 S plus rank. Yeah, I don't know. That seems about right to me. Here's something we could do. We can check this one as well. That should allow us to resolve the problem. Let me also check my you remind me of a doppelganger version of a Destiny streamer, Gigs. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Adam Driver? Yeah, heard of that one already. Yep, heard of that one already. So 5 is S plus, so that should work. It's just for some reason this does not work. So then my question is the PR difficulty not being set properly? Where's determined rating? Determine rating. Yeah, where are you? Session determined rating. Wait. I just read what the variable name is. No wonder it doesn't work. I just read what the variable name is. Personal record difficulty, not personal record rating. Okay. Well, no wonder it doesn't work. Because I'm a fucking idiot. Oh, man. Well, at what time? I wonder, when did I put this code in? Like 3 a.m.? Must have been. Because, like, something I was... now I feel like I obligatory need to look through all of my code to make sure that I'm not using this incorrectly. Difficulty, personal records difficulty. So in here, I'm using it correctly. Without past you making mistakes and keep doing the hard work, you wouldn't be here still making this awesome game. Yeah, I'd be somewhere else making an even awesomer game. Think about that. Yeah. So thanks, past me, fucking locking me up over here. Jace. So it seems like I've only made the oopsie. I don't want to look over here anymore. Seems like I've only made that oopsie over there. and not anywhere else. Wait. Are ratings completed? No, I actually used it in 2 spots incorrectly. I must have... Yeah, best difficulty. So I must have changed that variable a while ago. And that's crazy. So all of these levels are actually not working. All of these, anywhere this instance gets called is not functional. What does last days of Suits mean? It means we're getting close to done. We're almost at the finish line. I need some agua. I need some agua. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, that should be fixed. That's crazy. Oh man. So I do want to do let's do another sweep of this. Find a reference of this, and let's find all the references of where we use PR difficulty, because clearly I've misused that in multiple spots, not even just one, which is kind of insane. So here we have PR difficulty. It's being used with difficulty. Okay, so that one's being used properly. That's all the instances of that. Okay. That's crazy. That's crazy. So that should be fixed now. These 2 bugs are going to be issues. Well, this one I might be able to figure out. Maybe. This one might be a complicated one to try to fix. Yeah, character has gloves by default. Okay, I think I know where I messed up there with the gloves. I think I know where I messed up with that. It's in the it's in the material. I messed up in the material. I think I gave it a default value. There we go. And I did not change it. I think I know why I did that. I'm starting to realize I think I know why. Because this is a linear color. And I think I need to make a separate texture with a linear color. Unless this is linear color. No. So let's take this one. We'll do underscore LC. Bit stupid, but it works. And then we just turn off sRGB, which I believe should make it linear color. Okay, so that becomes the default. And we're good. Nice. I actually don't know how I was doing, how was I clearing the gloves then? It just wasn't setting it? Well, here I have it. I'm pretty sure I have gloves equipped, so that works just fine. So what if I restart? Yeah, okay. So I think that fixed it. Why are these really low? Hello? Oh, there we go. Okay, it loaded the texture. Took a little bit, but it loaded it in the end. You know, it's not a crazy amount of cosmetics, but it's better than nothing, I guess. And I feel like you get enough to you know, have enough freedom with it, right? You know what I mean? You can't wear hair with the... You can only have this option with the fedora. You cannot have hair, otherwise it clips the fucking hat. Ain't no way am I fixing that, okay? Don't get it twisted. I'm not fixing that. I don't know how I would even get started to fix that. Nicely done, Eric Andre. That's the name I was thinking of. Eric Andre. I do not look like Eric Andre. I really do not look like Eric Andre. I don't know how anybody thinks that. Is it because of my nose or something? That was the name I was thinking about earlier. Eric Andre. I don't look like Eric Andre. Yeah? Well, do you have glasses? Because if not, you should get some. I gotta do 5 push-ups. Hold on. Man. Oh, okay. You look like Jesse Eisenberg. I can see it from a personality standpoint. What the fuck? Eric Andre and me? Motherfucker, Eric Andre threw a plate in his face in Hot Ones. Do I look like I would do that? Maybe if you gave me enough alcohol. Maybe. Like a lot. Like 3 beers. That's probably enough to push me over the edge. And give myself a potential concussion. I don't know who Jesse Eisenberg is. That sounds like something from Breaking Bad. Jesse. What the hell happened to my character? It's a new look. I actually genuinely don't know what happened to my character there. It's like the material didn't switch. Whatever. Gloves on by default, turned off. I'm just glad we got most of these reds. I will say, I think this is, I would say these 2 are red. I just don't know how to fix them. I'm gonna be honest. I just I don't know how to. Well, this one I think I can figure out a fix, but it'll be a bit of a duct tape fix. They're now features? Nah, they're just like really annoying features then, if that's the case. Let's do this. I have an idea. Let's go to the level where this is prominent the most and where there is a challenge to actually break down all of the doors. And let's go ahead and copy the door where there's a lot of issues. There's Xander. I'm at 42.9k points. I'm going to save up a little, so no push-ups for now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to breathe like a regular human being. Thank you. I can get work done without having to do constant push-ups. All right. Where was I looking? Let's double check Discord real quick. Main gun won't fire. Bug hunting. Is there anything in here that I'm missing? That's fixed. You can still target enemies. That's fine. You become temporarily invincible and transparent, so the melee attack for another enemy doesn't register. That's fixed as well. You can shoot the enemy from the side. That's okay. That's sort of fixed. If you reach the checkpoint when you have the ultimate, that's fixed. You can shoot through the glass in the elevator. That's fixed. I just walked on the tracks and not alive. Yeah. This guy at the construction site doesn't know how to walk around a fence. I haven't looked into that one. The same as Matt. Maybe change it a bit so there's no exact. Oh, that's intentional. That is intentional. You stand near the forklift and press a button. The enemy sometimes refuses to attack you even though they're aggroed. Right, that's on the list. Okay, so we have to fix that first before I think before we can consider this as completed. That's fixed as well, or should be. Fixed. Should be improved. Low priority. Okay. So I didn't fix everything that's in this humongous list. Here's a cutlass I made. It's looking pretty good. This reminds me of when I was making swords in Substance Painter. Reminds me when I was making swords. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, cool, Ben. Are you looking for feedback on it? If you want feedback. If not, that's all cool. Grim, running out of games to play. No one's making superhero MMOs anymore. Superhero MMO. Just play Marvel Rivals. You'll feel like a superhero. Dude, I saw Maple Story, even though I fucking hate Nexon. But Maple Story, they're bringing like Maple Story Classic. That's kind of cool. Now, I don't know how classic, but I think the UI is like, it's the old UI and everything. Play Valorant. Yeah, Valorant's a great one. That's a great one. Yeah. Great game. Great community. Where's my gun? I'm just kidding. It's a really dark joke. Marvel canceled their MMO with Daybreak a few years ago. If you have higher resolution screenshots of it, Ben, I can maybe give more feedback. But maybe take some screenshots of the handle, the guard, a bit of the blade. I'd love to see maybe a close-up of this as well. Also, it depends on like where this gets used as well, right? Like if this is supposed to be, I don't know what the use case of it is either. So that is also kind of part of the conversation there. How do you find the bugsies in your game? People tell me about them, and then I cry about it. and then I cry. So I'm going to copy this wall. Just been playing the finals. The finals is fun, man. I haven't played it in a while. Is Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt still a thing? Is that still a thing? Yep, 606. So there are times where you kick a door and it like it flips around and doesn't hit the enemy that's behind it. So let's do this. Let's find an enemy. Let's put him behind the door. And let's do 10 tests. When suit for hire mobile? Probably never. How is it that when we do our test here, the collision's fine? And it works as expected. But in other areas, there's a tendency where the door will like clip something. And not do what I want it to do. ChatGPT told me that a superhero MMO is feasible. You can do it. You won't know until you try, right? I'm watching this from Bangladesh. Ain't that crazy? The world works in wild ways, huh? The world works in wild ways. Is it by chance the floor causing it to break? Is it by chance the floor? Let me check. Let's go back to that level. This floor is using floor 800 by 800. So I'm hitting Alt middle mouse button, okay? In the editor, you can hit Alt middle mouse button and it'll move your gizmo to that point for a temporary period of time. I'm over here and I'm hitting Alt middle mouse button so then I can fine tune this a little bit more. I can't. So now I have to drag it at a distance. Oh, there you go, I got lucky. It's like close enough. Unreal, man. I should keep track of this shit too. You know, I should keep track of all these issues. So, could the door be possibly running into something we don't want it to run into? Oh, the door's not there because I'm not loading the fucking sublevel! Try control? Let's try it. No. Let's just remind me to change this back to blueprint. Otherwise, I'm going to break this whole level. Why are you trying to check out the built data? I don't need the built data. Like that can happen, I guess, where you aim incorrectly and you don't hit them. But I have seen moments where the door like doesn't do what I want it to do. Now, albeit, I think the problem the person might have had is that the kill door was not calculating properly. But it seems to work relatively okay. Like, man, I really need to fix this AI sometimes. There's another attack directional indicator spawning in. Like, why are they all outside? You know, it could be, it's me constantly going underneath here. And the enemy characters... Oh, this is also apparently like a null zone. So they're like supposed to not go outside if they can. Again, we have that attack indicator popping up again. For some reason. Again. It's here again. Yep. That's a door, all right. I wonder if we should make it so enemy AI can also crouch under things. Like, would that be a worthwhile thing to put in, is making it so the enemies can crouch under things? Is it possible that the enemy AI or the built-in AI in Unreal is there a built-in solution for that? Makes for more realism on top of what's already there. It definitely would. It would be interesting. You see an enemy just crouch under things. I feel like in video games you actually... I feel like you don't see that often. Seeing enemies crouch under like barriers, probably because of nav mesh and navigation being a bit complicated for that. But I think in the navigation modifiers, so let's set this back just so I don't forget. That's fine. Continue. I don't know why the built data is trying to get fucking checked out. It doesn't make any sense. Let's also make sure that the navigation's in the right spot. I would presume it is, I don't know, probably. Okay. I do remember seeing a nav modifier called low height. Special area that can be generated in spaces with insufficient free height above, cannot be traversed by anyone. What's the point of having this when you have a null? What's the point of having, like, what is the point of having, what is the point of that? Cannot be traversed by anyone. That's, I guess it's just a different color, I guess. That's a bit stupid. It's a bit dumb, I will say. Yeah, because of how this is structured, unfortunately, the enemies also do not go through destructible glass, which kind of sucks. Unless maybe I made it a dynamic object, which I think would be very beneficial. Because otherwise you can cheese this a lot by just going back and forth through the window. Did a 10-minute playthrough and already hooked, but I gotta cook, so I'm gonna watch this live till I'm done eating. Hey, what you cooking? Yeah, I can't eat food as, like, I've been having to do a extremely strict regimen. Well, not really strict, but now that I have an Invisalign in, I can't eat while I have the Invisalign in, and I used to snack a lot. Like, a lot. So now I have to be like, okay, my next meal is gonna have this, 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 and this together at once. And it sucks because I have to wait until I'm hungry before, because it's annoying taking the shit out and everything. Ugh, it's awful, man. This trash can be turned into a physics prop. It's a physics prop, but it's affecting navigation. Making some pasta. Oh man, I haven't had pasta in such a long time. My partner's on keto, so I try not to make, like, I still do eat quite a bit of carbs, but it's like I try not to make things like pasta and whatnot. Oh, that's interesting. The nav modifier, the navigation is just cut. Billionaire game dev, first world problems. Hey, listen, man. It's not a first world problem. I don't know why this is broken. I don't know why this is happening. Maybe you can have a modifier that has some high weight for pathfinding, but you have the enemy to crouch in those areas when it uses that area. So the thing is, the way that the navigation generation works is I think it always has to use the agent height. So I can't generate navigation in these areas. What I would maybe have to do, we have nav links. I think what I'd have to do is do like a navigation link of, I'd have to forcefully make them crouch and move underneath. Like I'd have to move them manually. Which is kind of a stupid like thing I'd have to do. It makes me wonder, how am I going to make, when I start working on that zombie game, how am I going to make it so zombies can crouch and move around? I think I'm just going to have to really like do a custom AI solution for all of that stuff. Because recast nav mesh, I don't think is going to work. Current problem though. Why is this cut off? Like, I think these doors are the exact same as the other doors, so I don't understand why, I genuinely don't know why that's happening. Let's check the door frame. I don't see any weird collision going on. Is it the... Is it possibly the wall window? No. The metal frame, it's got collision turned on. Oh my god, no wonder the AI in this level fucking sucks balls. Why does this one work? Okay, well, that would maybe explain why they couldn't figure out how to get to where I want. All right. Navlinks might work through the problems that they have the same priority for pathfinding. Yeah, yeah. Like, I don't know if a navlink would even work in a scenario like this. Navlinks are weird. Navigation, I think, is my biggest headache with Unreal that I need to figure out still to this day, even in UE5. It is by far, I think, definitely the biggest headache of this engine is trying to utilize navigation and AI movement and their built-in stuff. It's fucking awful. It sucks. We need to go back when I have the time to learn A-Star. What's it called? A-Star? Is it A-Star? A-Star pathfinding and all that stuff. I need to learn about that stuff. I need to learn about that stuff. Yeah. This glass as well, I think we can maybe make it a dynamic modifier. If I can get that to fucking work properly. Because if I remember correctly, it was causing huge problems to get this to work. Oh yeah, the level's not loaded. Whatever. Could the door kicking be a problem at lower FPS? Was the actual issue nav mesh not granular enough to go through the doors? Well, in that scenario, it just did not have enough space for the agent to fit its way through this door frame, which admittedly is a design issue. I even at one point had a task on my list to take all of our door frames and increase the size of them. Because ideally, this is like, look how small this door frame is. It's just not video game. This is not, you know, this may be like, what do they call it? CPA or whatever approved. This is not video game approved. These damn door frames are small as hell. But there are just other headaches when it comes to nav mesh and just navigation in general that I've had to deal with. We have enemies that have super varied sizes, and having multiple nav agents for them is so terribly broken, man. It's a mess to get things to work. Oh, that sounds awful, man. And that's probably something I'll have to deal with for the zombie game in the future, because I would like to have varying sizes of enemies. And I think I'm just... And honestly, I'm okay with learning these things, because I want to learn these things. I think something I learned while working on this project, it got very stagnant in these past 4 years. I haven't been like, I've been learning level design and various things that I think is important, don't get me wrong, but I've not been learning a lot of engineering / technical skills as much. I have to a degree, but not as much as I would have liked. So I think that's going to be one of the things I'd like to do for the next game, is really dive a lot more into C++, learning about making my own pathfinding solution, if possible. That could be pretty sick. That could be a really cool endeavor to get into. I think those are all things that I think would be pretty cool and pretty neat to dive into. Let's see. Would it be a headache if we added a nav modifier to our glass? Now, I just have to remember how this is set up, because nav modifiers and dynamic navigation is kind of fucking finicky, just to, you know, to get it to work. If it was just about learning it, it'd be fine, but man, the system's so bust. You have loads of customization settings, but none of them work. I physically went into some of the C++ code when I was trying to learn things about navigation initially, or not initially, as the years have gone on. I have found so many variables and settings that seems like they would be useful that are actually not hooked up to anything. They're just an empty Boolean. And that baffled me. Yeah. It's actually insane. Kind of insane. What up, Delta? Okay, let's get this glass to work. Now, if I remember correctly, for the navigation modifier to work, you turn off can affect navigation on like everything. The widget, it's fine. You just turn that off to false. Might as well. Oh, oh, right. No, it wasn't the box. No, it's not the box. I think in general, you just turn off navigation. So in this case, because we set this to obstacle for now, if we change the static mesh and we turn off can affect navigation, I'm gonna have to remember how to do this, aren't I? Oh God, here we go. This is another example of bullshit. There's a button in here that makes it so the dynamic nav modifier will work. Which button was it? What was the process to get this to work? Oh my God. Ugh. This is yet another navigation headache. Is trying to get this shit to work. So now that we turned it off on the static mesh, it's very possible that we need a box collider in this project for this to work. Yeah, as you can see. Fuck, man. Okay, so it requires a box collider. Here's what's confusing about this. This box collider it's why doesn't it work? I'm kind of confused. There's no box on the other one. That's not the thing impacting this collision, because look how big the box is. So how is it that the it doesn't make any sense. How is it that this door works? Oh my God. And now it's not working anymore. Hold on, it's because I turned off collision. Okay, I think I'm understanding. It's because it's right above, so it's fine. Because it's right above. I would like this to be... Okay, great. So I need a box collider for the nav modifier to work. The box extent used only when the owning actor does not have a collision component. So the static mesh component cannot be used as a collision component. Here's the problem. We have different sizes of glass windows, so I need this box to match to the size underneath it. So what do I do? This has can affect navigation, but the interact box has it turned off. Seems like that still works. Okay, we need to take the box and potentially in the construction script, we need to size the box to the static mesh. Let's first check if that goes in the center. Okay, that goes in the center. That's a good start. Let's get some proper thickness into this. Okay, I just don't want it to affect these like little window areas. I just want it to affect these areas. Okay, next we need to get the local box extents. I think this box, I want to say this box extent is local. So I want to set the relative scale in 3D. And this box, I want to set the X and the Z. Makes sense? We're going to break this. This might be half extents, so we might have to double it. You just set these to 1. Cool. The Y is being overwritten though, so let's change that back to the value. Okay. We could potentially do thinner for this, but I think that's good enough. It's not impacting this. Can we see the box? Is the box there? The box is not setting itself correctly, even though I'm trying to do this in relative space. Love that for me. Now I wish I knew if the box extent is being is in if it's if this is in world space or local space. Let's just assume it's in world space. I don't know if I can even call this a transform location. Let's do get static mesh first, and then let's do get bounds, and then we can break this, and then let's get the extents. So far, so good on this one. So far, so good on this one as well. Our navigation looks good. Okay, so now let me check. Let me try out null as a default because we don't want them going through the glass until it breaks. Good. Then slam door. Let's find the nav modifier. We set the navigation relevancy to irrelevant. Is that enough for this shit to fucking work? Oh, I don't know if it's enough, but let's see. So let's find glass break. This is replaced with destructible. We set it to irrelevant. Now, it would actually be kind of cool to set it to irrelevant if you shoot the glass altogether. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. If it gets damaged at all, a player can run through it. I don't mind that. I'm not against that whatsoever. I'm not against that. I don't know if that'll look kind of silly, but it at least allows them kind of do things a little differently. Okay, so null by default. Cool. What that means is that now, if we play through this level, I'm going to switch this back to always loaded. That's fine, whatever. I don't know why that's happening. And I hit play. Hold on, I gotta reset the checkpoint because I think it deleted all of the... Okay. Let's say I shoot this guy. Okay, hold on. We gotta set up this collision. For the box, it's supposed to have no collision. Let's do custom visibility, turn it off. Sight, turn it off. Damageable, turn that off. World static, turn that off. World dynamic, turn that off. Pawn, we can do overlap. Wait. I turned off everything. I ignore everything and this box still works? What if I turn it to no collision? I guess I suppose that works. What? All right, well, Jimmy didn't hear that. He heard that though. Let's see. Does he go through the glass? He goes through the glass. And it's green now. Okay, sick. He didn't see that coming. We break through that. The nav mesh regenerates over here. It becomes green. Big. Huge even. That's kind of annoying though. When the door gets stuck, I gotta say that is extremely frustrating. This morning I set up an AI that moved to waypoints and I had it move to the launch pad and got launched. Hey, hell yeah, man. When that shit works, it's awesome. When it works, it's awesome. Guy's taking a dumpy. Hello? This is one of the best looking bathrooms in the game. There's even a stain. There's even a stain. There's even mirrors. Whoa! I don't know why that happens. I literally don't know why that happens. Can we maybe fix that? Maybe if we like bring the mirror in a bit. Ooh, that is easily replicatable. Is it maybe because there's not enough space? That might have been it. Wow, okay. It's when you hit the edge of the mirror. It's when you hit the edge of the mirror. Let's see if we can fix that. What was I even fixing to begin with? I think we were trying to look into the kicking the door problem. I think that was what we were trying to look at initially. I don't know what we were trying to look at. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even... Where the hell am I? Hold on, I'm looking at my Slack. Okay. What's the purpose of the mirrors there? You can't even see them, can you? Well, in third person you can. But you can see them in the other version as well. It's just, yeah. Forgot you had third person. I know it's quite the it's quite the random stupid thing I just had to add. Interesting. Interesting. I'm seeing one thing here. The damage amount is set to 99. So that means whenever you shoot a bullet at the mirror, it, you know what we should do? I don't know if that would work though. How am I doing this mirror, actually? I'm taking you. I'm taking you. Come here. You're coming over here. All right. Where the fuck? That is like super easy to replicate. The thing that's really funny is... Wait, I just shot it right on and it broke. Oh yeah, okay. Not good. Ideally, when we hit a mirror, instead of us spawning a new mirror, what would be smart is, or spawning a new bullet when we hit the mirror, it actually would be, it would make more sense to change the direction of the bullet. It's just that I think when we hit the mirror, I think it is counting as a hit, so it deletes the bullet. Yeah. Does the newly spawned bullet spawn inside the mirror and collide with it again? I think that's probably what it's doing. I have an idea. I think we already had the system for this, funny enough. We have a shield ignore variable, technically meant for the shields, but I think we could use it. That's a unique unintended mechanic. Crashing the game. I would say that's fixed. I don't know if we had a bug report in here for that. We didn't, but I'd say that's fixed. Just using the existing system that's in here. The shield ignore. There you go. Done. I didn't know it crashed the game. It doesn't crash the game, but it does cause bullet projectile to get spawned infinitely, which you might as well call it a crash at that point. Always turns out great. You've accidentally implemented things that turned out to be useful, right? Isn't that great? Good job, past me. I don't say that often, but good job. You did it. You did it. Okay. Let me actually go back to Chop Shop because I don't know if I set the level. I did not. That could have been bad. This level would have been broken. Would have been a broken level. We also have to build lighting in here, apparently. We supposedly have to build lighting in here. So the glass is a good addition. I don't know if it will cause... it might cause a little bit of lag because the navigation needs to be rebuilt in those areas. But I do think it's a good price to pay because now the enemies can go through the glass if you broke it and they're not trying to, you know, want to run around it, which looks really stupid. We also fixed some of the collision in here, which is good. The problem, though, back onto what we were trying to fix, kicking doors kind of fucking sucks sometimes. There is also the problem where sometimes someone will kick a door, and instead of the door being kicked, they kind of like gently tap it. Let me see. Does this door frame have collision? Okay, it does. Okay, so it's a similar repeatable case. They didn't want to go through the glass because they didn't want to get cut. It's all candy glass anyways. It's just a set. We don't tell the player that, though. It's all just a movie set. Kick it while moving backwards? I don't think you can. Well, that can occur, but I don't know. I feel like it's a skill issue thing at that point. Facing the door while moving backwards. You mean like kicking it on the other side? While looking, while moving backwards. I don't think it should cause any issues. Because you get launched forward a little bit when you do a melee attack. Oh, I guess, you know, one thing I can notice there is like the kick distance might not be far enough. Like right there, we're kind of clipping. Maybe it's on the edge. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. Check if it was a kick. No, it happens in other doors in a packaged build. It definitely does happen. I've experienced it before where we kick down a door and it does some weird stuff. It does do some weird stuff. I wish I could see what this sweep is doing. I actually would not mind seeing what the sweep is doing. Maybe we just increase the amount of damage the door deals. You know what I mean? Say fuck it. Make the door kind of... We did have that one instance where we kicked down the door and it got stuck. Which was kind of annoying. So that did happen. Allow enemies to kick doors. They can open doors. They can open doors. Is Blueprint fast enough to make whatever you make in the game, or do you still use C++ for some stuff? I use C++ for a few things where nodes are not exposed. But honestly, not like 95% of the game is in Blueprint. A very, very large portion of it is in Blueprint. But they can open the door themselves. But they can also bug out the door. How's the FPS? Honestly, it's good. I think the thing that actually hits the performance the most is the character movement component, which is a built-in Unreal system that is made in C++. That's our biggest thing, and also behavior trees. Which could be fixed by C++, but I actually think it can be fixed by other elements in the game. I think the times where you do want to use C++, if you are doing a lot of looping with a lot of math and a lot of like nodes, that's when it starts getting pretty heavy and starts causing a little bit of fuckery, and C++ can help in those situations. So if you're doing like procedural generation, I would probably recommend just doing that in C++. Like that would be a good example, I think, of... I just broke my stamina. My stamina is not regenning. I did fix some stuff with the stamina, but in doing so, I also broke some stamina stuff. Where do we start the... We have a stop sprinting, but where do we... Where do we, start stamina regen. We call it after draining the stamina? But we clear the timer for the stamina regen here. Where am I? Don't know where. Oh, here I am. Adjust movement state. Stop sprinting. And I guess start stamina regen? Everything seems to be working still. Let's try land. Get up. Sprint. Land. Get up. Sprint. Okay. I think it's working. I think. So if it's event-based, aka one-time use, not looping like an event ticket, should be good. Yeah, honestly, Blueprint I think is perfectly fine when you do event-based stuff, as long as it's not like happening constantly. And honestly, you just do your due diligence, but you could do a lot with Blueprint. You could do a lot with it. Slowly but surely, slowly but very slowly. I'm slowly but very slowly. I'm slowly but surely making my top-down game. I had to rephrase that. Something like PoE though. Oh, like an ARPG. I don't know if you'd really need ALS for an ARPG, but I guess it depends on what you're really trying to make, I guess. Man. I don't know how to fix this issue with the doors. One thing I am noticing... That likes to happen a lot. Like this does happen quite a bit. And then you can like run through it. So that part kind of sucks. How issue is this issue? It gets to the point where people can't finish some of the challenges because kicking down the door is a bit buggy. It's not, well, it's not buggy. It's just there's a lot of duct tape fixes to try to get it to work properly. And in doing so, I guess there's scenarios where like this does occur and it's kind of annoying. It also blocks the camera. Do I disable the collision of the door with the frame? What I do is when you kick it down, I think what I do is I turn off collision of the object for like a split second. Let me see. What am I doing with this? Check if it was a kick. Yeah, 0.01 seconds, we set the world static back to block. So maybe we can try 0.02, we double the time. Now here's a problem. What if the door frame is not world static and it's something else? Well, it is world static in this sense. So well, technically that seems to work, but that's a physics prop, so it's a little different. Worst case is you could dissolve the door after a few seconds. For that specific issue, yeah, we could definitely dissolve it after a bit. Or like make it break or something, I don't know. A 0.01 timer might be FPS dependent. I think I'm okay with it because it's just a static check. That's okay to an extent. Not the greatest thing in the world. We should probably set a timer for it, but probably should set a timer for it, honestly. Am I setting the collision? So this says set it to block. Are we setting it to ignore? I think by default it has world static set to ignore. Right, here we go. Okay. It's already set to ignore by default. Okay. Sure, Melky. If it's like your project in progress. Let's see. Maybe I'm enabling that collision too early. Perhaps. Perhaps. Let me see what the timeline is for that kick. Like how long. So what we do is when we kick down the door, I actually manually move the door for a period of time. And I move it over a period of 0.6 seconds. So maybe I could probably increase this to like 0.05. Let's just do a check real quick. Let's put a wall here. Put a wall real quick. All right, hold on. Without a person there. That time the kick did something weird. I don't know why the kick moved weirdly. I think, dude, I think part of it is sweeping. Instead of us checking for a hit result manually ourselves, we're using sweeping. And because of that, oh shit. It only sweeps when world static is set to block, and that happens now after 0.05 seconds. So it's actually very likely that if an enemy's right at a door, do they not get hit by it? Sweeping's pretty broken at times. Sweeping is kind of, yeah, sweeping is a bit of a it is definitely a bit of a hit or miss. Let's put the guy right here. Let's try something at an angle. It's working. I keep seeing the speaker icon and thinking he's wearing a sombrero. Hey, let's just keep thinking that, because that sounds fun. Try setting the FPS to something like 10. Let's try that. Let's do 30 FPS. It hit. Because we're doing a timeline, I wonder if, like, I don't know if that would be dependent on... Do you add a forward rotation on the door for a second, so instead of being kicked away square from the frame? Actually, I think we do, actually. As a matter of fact, I think we do. So on top of, like, manually setting the stuff here, I think we add an angular impulse. So we are, like, tilting it a little bit. Yeah, let's try right in front of the door then. Let's see if that causes any issues. No, it's all good, Bard. I think within reason, right? Within reason. Question, how do you start learning a coding language? Well, have you ever done a demonic ritual before? I don't know, you just dive into it and starts with some basic stuff and then kind of go from there. You just start with some basics, you know, get something moving from point A to point B, you know, and then from there you start with like some simple stuff. If you're doing Unreal Engine, I would say for video games, I think the best first thing to learn, no matter what the engine is doing like an interaction system, you know? Interaction system, I would say, is probably like the best starting point, because then from there you can expand into different things. I think you could probably do that for any camera angle, any perspective, even if it's in 2D. Like if you're doing a cursor-based interaction system, I think that's a really good start, because then you can kind of like start doing different things with that, right? And then you slowly kind of learn things from there. Try removing the delay that you set to 0.05. We don't want to remove it because I think that would cause this to instantly... Why is it so spaced out? There must have been some code here. That will cause this to instantly block, and then I think the door will like just instantly get stuck. So, here's my idea. This is technically a edge case when an enemy is literally right in front of the door. So, let's compensate for the edge case. I tried to remove the delay. I did. What ends up happening if I remove the delay entirely, even if I remove the enemy, I think what ends up happening is this door will just get stuck. Like that. That's why I give a padding for this, so that it has time to get outside of whichever spaces it's in. I think we actually have a plugin specifically for only disabling collision between specific components. That'd be great. That'd be great. Just specific components, not just a channel, but also a thing. It would be great. 0.01 should be good. Ideally. But for some reason, I think that might not be enough. Because we did that. That was the original. But sometimes I think it's like hitting something within that time frame. So, here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to do a line trace. Do I do a line trace constantly while the door is being kicked? I think it's not a bad idea. Does this stop the timeline? It does. Here's what we're gonna do. I think this is honestly a surefire. I think this is a good idea. Because this is such an integral gameplay mechanic, I'm not gonna rely on fucking sweeping and physics. I can't be bothered. I cannot be bothered. We're gonna take the kick direction. We're gonna set this to, I guess, 30. Let's try 30. And then we're gonna add our world location to that. Set that to the end. I just want to see what the line trace is gonna look like. I think it's getting stuck because he's right there. Is that not being called? Five seconds. Trace color. I don't know where that line... Get world location of door. Kick direction, multiply by 30. We're getting the right vector of the player character mesh. Just maybe multiply it by 60, I guess? I don't fucking know, man. What the hell? I think setting the delay to 0 will cause the same issue of the door getting stuck. Because this will probably sweep, hit the door frame, and then we probably end up with the same problem. So I think by creating our own solution, this will kind of resolve the issue a little bit. What I'm mostly concerned about, am I doing this wrong? Kick direction, which is a direction. Albeit it is, we're going through it, and then we're setting the location. Ah. Of course. Why, of course. The door's in the fucking corner. So that makes sense. Get bounds. Get local bounds. No, get bounds. Get component bounds. Origin. It's still not working. This thing's some bullshit. Is this fucking tainted? Why is this broken? I'm pretty sure the origin is... I'm pretty sure origin is in world space. I think that line trace disappeared. Dude, what the fuck, man? What the shit, man? That's not even being run. What? Um... Door kick movement. Stop. Do we call any starts? No. They're all just stops. Are breakpoints broken? Am I not calling that code? We go through here, then 0. I'm about to go crazy. Where do we call kicked door? Right here, we call kicked door. You didn't call it code, you're changing the delay, wouldn't have done anything. Right, I'm going fucking crazy. How are the breakpoints not working? I'm going insane! Oh, I think is it in my game mode? Where is it? It's in my game mode. Oh, there we go. Okay. When I was recording the trailer in the editor, I flush all of the debug lines, which is obviously not helpful. Obviously, not the most helpful thing in the world. You're a flush debug line? How fucking dare you? Anyways, you know what I am? A fucking idiot. That's what I am. A big dummy poopy pants. Rip. And we shall do this. And this shall be called. And it will be epic. What was that winter survival game you showed a trailer off of? Winter Survival. I'm assuming you are talking about... it's by a studio called Hinterlands. The game is called... Black Frost. That's it. I got it. I got it. Black Frost? You talking about that one? All right. Okay, so the line trace will now 100% guarantee a hit. Or, well, it should. Like that. So if there are somehow literally right in the door, they should now get hit by the door and then get stuck inside of it. Yep! Yeah, the Long Dark 2. The Long Dark 2, that's what it is. All right. Good change. Now, does this affect anything? The right vector seems to still be pretty good. But what if we somehow move my character? What if we kick it in a weird angle? Well, it still happens, but luckily, what if the NPC is 5 units to the right? Listen, okay. It works. What if they're over here? I don't know, it'll probably work. It works. Although the line is a bit incorrect, but it works. Somewhat. Yeah, okay, cool! Yes! Okay, we've improved door kicking. Yes. Yes. Now, what I do want to see, is it possible to find where the code is that causes us not to be able to shoot after kicking down a door specifically? Specifically a door. Ow, I poked my eye. Where is it where we suddenly cannot shoot for some random reason? I don't know where that happens. I don't know why it happens. It just seems to happen. I don't know. It's some fucking black magic or something. Some witchcraft. Something. I don't know. I don't know why. Suddenly, when we open the door, we can't shoot anymore. I don't know why. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Would that be in the door though? Probably not. But. So we call melee attack trace. Would your button release code get blocked if you're in a kicking anim? I looked all around the kicking stuff. I have no idea what is going on. It happens in random moments. Suddenly, let's go to melee attack trace real quick in our player character. Melee attack trace. Let's see here. Event melee attack trace. I might be seeing a bit of a problem here. Right here. If I try to punch really quickly and then kick. Hold on. Kick, punch. Kick, punch. I think I had a moment there where I couldn't shoot, actually. But, hold on. Let's see here. Where's that box trace? Delays, the bane of existence. Yeah, delays are definitely problematic. I'm going to be trying to use them a lot less, I think, in the next project. Part of me is wondering if this delay is somehow not being played, and the knockback could be the potential problem. Does that make sense? Let's also check if maybe it's a problem to do with an enemy being too close to a door. No. What if it has to do with kick, punch? Can you melee and kick in the same frame? No, you can't. Maybe it is FPS based. No. No, I don't know. Maybe we miss and then kick. No. Sprinting into a kick. Try and set time dilation to make it easier for you to hit that time window and test that hypothesis. It happens so often that I doubt it is something that, like, not off. It doesn't happen often. It just happens. And the reasoning why I haven't been able to catch is because people can't really figure out, like, what the reproduction steps are for it. I think it might have to do with does knockback check? No, it doesn't. It doesn't stop us from shooting. So it's not that. And it's for some reason specifically when it comes to hitting the door. So that's also a weird situation there. What does prevent us from shooting in general? So there are a few things that would not allow a fire weapon to go through. Right in here. So it's right here. This is our shooting. Making sure that we're not dashing. So it could be this. Making sure that we're not dead. Could also be this. Could be this, which is can fire, which honestly we don't even use that much. Well, we do. We do use it a little bit. It could also be that. We check that we're not reloading. We check that we're not playing any reload animations. And then we make sure that we're not doing the gun clipping tilt thingy, so... Could kicking turn on reloading? I don't think so. But, you know, on that subject, maybe maybe going from a reload into a kick causes it to break, and then kicking down a door. So let me give myself some ammo here. I actually cannot kick while reloading, which I think is like an issue in and of itself. Okay, hold on. Maybe we're onto something. So weirdly enough, you can dodge. Wait, hold on. So here's a funny thing. When you start the game, ignore the door. When you start the game, you can't kick while reloading. But get this. If I dodge, then reload, and then I can then for some reason start doing things. Something in the dodge is like by default turned on, like turned off, which disallows you from doing an initial action. Huh. Maybe it's reloading, maybe it's not, maybe it's dashing, maybe something going on in the dashing. Let's see, dashing. Set can fire to true. Why is it that we can only cancel the reload later on? What is the dash doing? What does sidestep, what does that call? Where does that get called? It might actually be reloading. You know what? It might actually be reloading. Because I'm looking at this list, right? This list is a little different. Oh, this is dive. Wait, hold on. Where's the other? Where the fuck I am? Dash. This list is somewhat similar to the other one. It's just the other one has reloading. Where am I? There it is. Gun graphing. So the difference between that one and this one has reloading. This one checks if the montages are active. And obviously it has can fire, so it could be can fire. Can fire could be the weird fucking thing breaking randomly at times. What I do want to see is what is dashing doing that's causing it to allow other things to go through. Go into sidestep. I see nothing special / unique here that could suddenly allow us to do movements and shit that we previously were not able to do. This sets can fire to true. So does it kick check if you're reloading? Let's take a look. Let's see what the kick is checking for. All it's checking is if we are dead or diving. If false, kick event. Oh, hold on. We got a few more checks in here for some reason. Can melee combo is set to false by default. Pick it up, reload, try to kick. All right. I think we found where we found where the problem is. That was the default. Although, problem, when we kick, it does not stop the reload. The reload continues to go through. Unless I'm kicking too late. Hold on. Nope, we're still playing it. I would... Should we fix that? I guess it doesn't really make too much sense. Did the dash also not stop the reload? I think the dash did. I feel like maybe we should... I don't know. Yeah, maybe the kick should not allow reloading to go through. We should probably disrupt it. Right? At the same time, yeah, no, yeah. I think a kick should... but... If I change that now... Would that piss off players? Not being able to go through with a reload while kicking. Does a punch cancel the reload? No. I don't think it matters too much. Just from a balancing standpoint, I guess it should cancel the reload, but at the same time... Is it fun? You know? Is it fun? We just leave it honestly? Yeah, I think so. I think this is one of those moments where we just leave it in. We just let it continue the reload while you're meleeing. I think from a gameplay standpoint, that just feels better. It doesn't punish the player for doing melee attacks, so fuck it. Man, I don't know what is causing us not to be able to shoot. That's that fixed? I honestly, I'm gonna be honest, guys. My brain is foggy. I don't even know what the fuck we fixed. I don't even know what... Oh, we fixed that issue where we like can't cancel the reload. Okay, yeah, we fixed that. Okay, we fixed that. Okay. Because one boolean wasn't set properly. But now, how do we fix the problem with the kicking, or the kicking down the door, causing us not to be able to shoot? It's something to do with this. It could be reloading. So when we stop the anim montage of reloading, is this bug weapon specific? Primary default, reload weapon. We call reload weapon. We toggle the flashlight / laser. Then we go in here, we set reloading to true. Uncompleted or uninterrupted, we set it to false. So the default primary weapon, working. The deagle does not have reloading, so we can't reload the weapon. It does not have a secondary aim, so that's fine. Primary nail gun. Reloading. Set to false. Toggle the flashlight / laser. Ideally, when you run stop, I would imagine that runs it. Reload weapon does not play an animation. This just manually Is it possible this isn't being played? No, it's... Unless maybe it's not getting the player HUD, but that's not possible. It's always there, it's just set to invisible. Let's check the silence pistol. We do the exact same thing. In fact, it makes me wonder, why didn't we just make a universal function for this? Makes me wonder. Well, why am I stupid? Okay, how about the single shot gun? Let's go to the reload. Are we doing anything different? No, it's literally the exact same thing. Okay, how about, that's it. That's all of our primary weapons. I don't know where this bug is, guys. I don't know how to fix it. I don't even know where to get started by fixing this issue. Are we hitting the reload button and canceling it too quickly? Well, we have no ammo, so we can't shoot. I don't know. I don't know! I don't know where the problem is. I don't know. I have no idea. I've got no fucking clue what to do. Okay, the last potential thing it could be is can fire somehow not being set to true, or maybe it's being set to false at a certain point. Is it the grab? Is it the grab into a kick? Hey, I gotcha! Come here! I don't know. I should probably fix that, but whatever. Against... I love how he just gets stuck in the door. It's like we like hexed... We like hexed him. And he just becomes stuck in the door permanently. I don't know. I don't know. Crouch into kick into fire? No. I don't know what I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Sometimes kicking door causes player to not be able to fire the weapon. I don't know. I need more information. Because otherwise... I don't know what the problem is. Does anything else set can fire? No. I don't know how to fix this. Is it possible that maybe a montage gets active forever and causes us to not be able to shoot? Assault rifle recoil. I don't think it'd be that. Right? Could add in a log print for the reason you can't fire. I guess, and I hope it shows up again to send their log file. Can I put in a... Is there a thing in Blueprint to put a log print that will appear in a shipping build? Can I do that? Because I don't think print string will appear in a shipping build, right? Man, I don't even know. How long have we been streaming for? 3 hours. Gosh, we're gonna... how do I do that, though? Can I create a log, print, log out? Nope, that's not it. Good question, no idea. Because I don't think I've ever received logs from someone that shows me print string logs, because I'm pretty sure that's just a development thing. I don't know if this will print in a shipping build. I don't think you can. I don't know. Do warnings print to log? No, I don't actually. I actually have no idea. I actually have no idea. I have to ship it with debug. I think I changed some of my settings to actually don't know if the shipping build even does debug. No clue, man. I'm too stupid for that. There is an option to disable print string nodes for shipping. Print. Ow. Uh-huh. I don't know. Like, print string is development only. But I think it is always development only. How to log in shipping build. How do you enable logging so it logs in shipping? The default for shipping builds is to not print out any logs for any platform, though it can be overwritten to do so. Oh my god, you need to use a source version of the editor. You need... There's no way you need a source version of the... There's no way you need a source version of the editor. With 4.18, okay, this was in 2017. I didn't look at the date. With 4.18, you can just add b use logging and shipping equals true to the target rules constructor in your target CSS file. It only lists the UE log messages through. Blueprint print string nodes are not displayed. Well, this was supposed to promise in 4.18 plus does not allow packaging if you're using a launcher build. I'm going to go fucking crazy, man. You need to use open source built engine from GitHub. And then someone's advertising their add-on here. I'm curious, what are all of their posts? I can't see. Wait, you're telling me I can't see all of their posts? Okay, all of their posts are pertaining to their asset. That's very funny. Literally every single post is just their asset. Oh, man. Thanks again. I had a friend who over that I really wanted to show. It's a cool looking game, man. It's a cool looking game. I'm helpful. Buy my plugin. I think even if we change the print string, I know there's a setting for it to change things from non-development only to also shipping. I don't think that's actually going to print it to a log. Like, I don't think it's going to work. I don't know, like, where, I don't know what kind of file it's going to log it to. Anyways, I got other work I need to do. Pretty solid day. Yeah, I think. I need to ASAP get my localization stuff ready, so then on Monday, the localization companies can start working on stuff. Yeah. Option on mine says, do you include debug files and shipping builds? Maybe it's a UE5 thing. The debug files are not for logging like that. Although I could be wrong. Those are usually for debugging crashes and various things like that. And what you end up doing is you actually take out the debug file that builds with it, and you keep that locally. So then when someone sends you a crash report, you can use that local file. I can actually show you. Where's my builds? Here it is. No, wait, hold on. Yeah, so it keeps tracks of PDBs. It builds a PDB file basically in here. You don't actually give that to your player. And usually that PDB file is just used for debugging crashes. So it's like, I just keep these files. This file I don't give to the player because it can be a security concern. And that's all it generates. That's about it, as far as I remember. Yeah, it's just a PDB. So, Stalker 2 gives it to the player. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing to do, but I don't. And also, it's 110 megabytes, so that's quite big. Yep, that's pretty damn big. Anyways, I'll see you guys on Monday, probably. Most likely. I got some other work I need to do. I got to do this localization stuff ASAP. I can't be delaying it any longer. Because it's very important. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. Goodbye. Take it easy. It's still April 6th. We're on schedule for releasing the game. There are so many bug fixes we've made that are not on this list. And honestly, I kind of don't care. If someone says, man, this guy did fucking nothing, I will agree with them. Because it's true. It's been 4 years. All right, I'll see you guys on Monday for yet again another April 6th stream to finish the game once and for all. And chances are I'll probably have a lot more work done, but I do have to work on contract work, and I need to get this localization stuff done. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.